Hi, Bill Yannick here, Connects FM CEO. Welcome to the Daily Grind. As today we're talking about a very interesting, riveting subject, building automation, some sustainability, some ESG, and we have two subject matter experts from Facility Solutions Group. We have Gary Ament and Zack Cornwell. Gary and Zack, welcome to the Daily Grind.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. All right.
Well, let's get a little more. You have really interesting profiles on LinkedIn, so I'm going to let you describe it. Starting with Gary. Could you give us a little intro, a little more color commentary about what you do at Facility Solutions Group?
So my official title is Solutions Architect, and what that really means is I'm kind of driving the force behind engineering, product roadmap, product management, voice of the customer, sales resource, and of course I do a lot of trade show panel discussions. Just kind of keeping an eye on the market and really what the customer needs. I like to use a phrase. I like to say that my job is to separate the hip and the hype from the real and the relevant.
Okay. Great way to keep it short and concise, and love it. We'll be talking to you again here in a moment about some building automation, but Zack, have a little more color commentary on your background and bio. What do you do at Facility Solutions Group?
Yeah, so I've got a pretty diverse background. I was in food and beverage for a long time, so rolling right into the multi-site facility. Used to sell as a supplier to multi-site facilities, convenience store chains. Then got into the technology piece and learned about ESG and sustainability, kind of about 4 or 5 years ago, and kind of really hit home. Being a young guy, I want to be able to leave something better for my children. And kind of fell in love with technology. And what I do around FSG is I'm the sales guy. So I'm the person out there forward facing, helping educate and being that go-to resource, or being able to point them in a direction to where somebody could offer some help on the questions that they might have. But overall, we're out here advocating from the Facility Solutions Group about building automation and how it ties into sustainability and ESG and building better facilities for tomorrow.
Awesome. Well, perfect tee up. So Gary, back to you. Two-part question. One is, we hear about building automation all the time. How would you define it? Maybe in a brief manner. And then most importantly to Connects FM members, especially our multi-site FMs, why is it important to their mission in life?
Yeah, it's a great question. In fact, we've been talking about the differences between, and I'll just throw in the word EMS system in there. People get those two confused. Mm-hmm. They are vastly different. So what I would say right off the bat is a BAS can do EMS type functions, but not the other way around. EMS is not a BAS. And so the key word in the BAS acronym is automation. Mm-hmm. What does that mean? Well, there's a difference between control and automation. Automation is something that should happen without anybody's interaction once the parameters have been set to do whatever that is. The reason BAS in particular is important to our customers, which are multi-site facility manager customers, is because a lot of the sites do not have people at the site. So it becomes very important that the system does something by itself without being told. If something goes wrong, it's alerting people. If something needs to be adjusted, it's emailing people. And build an automation system can tie in all of the aspects that we know in this market: IoT, ESG, actually to standard control and just controlling, HVAC units, indoor air quality. All those things kind of go into what a BAS system is.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, fascinating. And one of the things I know that you probably deal with on a day-to-day, and certainly I'm one step removed, is it's kind of difficult to define building automation, and it can be defined in a whole bunch of different ways. But it is critical to the mission of our multi-site FMs. At least what we try to do too is our FMs aren't going to become building automation experts, nor should they be, but they need to be conversant in the technology, know how to talk to people like you to find those solutions that are going to help them do or achieve their mission. So Zack, to you, you mentioned at the top a little bit about ESG, environmental, social, and governance. And I know Connects FM as a task group you're participating on as well. But more specifically, so how does building automation feed into more sustainable environments? And that's so important to what our FMs are doing these days.
Yeah, so it's kind of starting off with BAS or ESG is each person has their own level of knowledge. Some might be already having an ESG sustainable program. Others might be, needing their handheld and educated on the basics and best practices. But overall, BAS and ESG creates a sustainable environment from, I say, two approaches within the multi-site facility. It's that facility's impact on the environment and, monitoring HVAC, leak detection, lighting, refrigeration. The whole basis behind that is to help reduce energy consumption. And so if you're reducing energy consumption or monitoring the water flow rate, you're wanting to be more conservative, and that inherently has its benefits on reduction of impact and demand on the energy grid. So, there's less need for that power. And if you scale that, from a multi-site facility, the exponential benefits are really seen by, 50 locations, 100 locations, 1,000 locations. So that's the power that a multi-site facility group has, is you take these energy management best practices, or, and you can get into the weeds with some of the control that these systems have, but also sustainable environment within inside the facility. So indoor air quality, COVID coming out of it, indoor air quality has been a big thing. Ultraviolet light within the HVAC to kill bacteria and viruses, all the way to just basic temperature control, making sure that your employees and customers are happy. Those two are tied together. So it's sustainable in the fact that it's helping reduce the impact, but then it's sustainable within the environment and the experience that people are really experiencing. And then also you can get into like the lighting control, setting better color tones to help boost mood, work efficiency. Again, you can kind of get into the weeds and talk about lighting and circadian rhythm. That healthcare hospitals are seeing, because they're running 24/7, and they want to keep people alert and tied into, again, their syncing of the circadian rhythm. So advocating for sustainable environments, it really just comes down to help reducing the impact on that facility, and then that again overlaps into the experience that the customers or employees are seeing internally.
Good deal. And Gary, to wrap this up, we've talked a little bit about defining building automation, and Zack a little bit more on how that impacts sustainability and like. So if I came to you, and most of our FMs, I think, have a basic knowledge of what building automation is, or maybe what's some of your advice though to that FM out there of kind of first steps to take to go to their C-suite to sell building automation, or even to sell some of these EMS systems and like? What would you tell that FM if he or she came to you and said, I want to get started?
Yeah, that's that's a great question. And it's a precarious position for the customer to be in, because again, the market is so big. I'm not going to repeat everything that Zack said, but man, there's a lot of things we can do. My one or two sentences to that customer would be, understand your pain points and really distill down what would change your day, and start there. Start simple and build upon it. If you do get a system, get one that can grow with you and that's future ready.
Awesome. Great stuff, guys. Really appreciate your engagement at Connects FM. We certainly need subject matter experts like yourself as we confront these building automation and ESG efforts and the like. And for our audience out there, I want to encourage you, check out Gary and Zack on LinkedIn. Great profiles. They'll get you a lot more detail. Or go to connectsfm.com, where this episode or all back episodes of our Daily Grind are. And also consider our ESG task group, as we're just getting started over the last year or so at connectsfm.com. That's our episode for today. That's your Daily Grinder here at 2 Central most days, or at connectsfm.com. Have a good one.